Welcome back. It's 2025, the new era, the golden age of America. We are here again with another one, right? Like a smooth seven. We're giving you 6 videos a week. So please subscribe, follow, share, like, and spam up the comment. Just like hit it up like a punching bag. All right? Anytime, any day, you write me, I will respond as soon as I see it and I get the time to respond to you. So we're going to get right back with another video. So let's get right to it.
I'm giving you literally all I got. But no more are going to be released tonight, okay? And tomorrow is a brand new day. We'll see what tomorrow brings, okay? I'll probably be here with you, okay?
I hope
It's a violation.
you don't release them after release.
The law, right?
Can we?
No, I was told no more
They're not gone
tonight.
by
No more
midnight.
tonight.
No more tonight,
It's illegal.
okay?
We trust you.
And tomorrow, I don't know,
Okay.
okay? And that's the best I got for you.
Can you tell us the condition of the prisoners?
Nope. I'm sure they're fine.
We just worry that you release them after we left.
No. The commander has assured me no more being released tonight.
Oh, good.
Okay.
We worry about their code. We did come out with
I
their
understand.
protocol.
I very much understand.
Okay. Tell your boss to be humanitarian.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
And tell them not to pepper spray them and beat them up with it.
Okay.
That'd be best.
All right.
Don't stop at Hunter Biden.
Thank you.
Pardon the 40 people who are on death row right now to get them off of death row, number one. Number two, pardon the 3,000 people who are in federal jail for trumped-up marijuana charges. Pardon them as well so they can get back to their communities and contribute to their economies. That's what the
As you can see in the first video, he was making a delivery or he was in the wrong place, the wrong time for trespassing. They arrested him for J6. They was letting them out. Then you're looking at people that was asking the police for the J6 people to be released, and they said that there was no more for the night. The next day to come back, and they was just asking the same question over and over. But for the final part, as we're looking at where they're talking like the people that was pardoned by Biden and Hunter Biden and his families and everybody that he pardoned and everything, including Mr. Fauci and all. What do y'all think about that? I'm going to leave that up to y'all to let me know what you think about that. So put it in the comments, all right, so we all could view it and then we could put our inputs in it. Let's get on with the next video.
I can report to the American people. Our adversaries are weaker than were when we came into this job 4 years ago. Just consider Russia. When Putin invaded Ukraine, he thought he'd conquer Kyiv in a matter of days. But the truth is, since that war began, I'm the only one that stood in the center of Kyiv, not him. Putin never has. Think about it. It was a long train ride, but I'm the only commander-in-chief to visit a war zone not controlled by U.S. forces. We helped Ukrainians stop Putin. And now, nearly three years later, Putin has failed to achieve any of his strategic objectives. He has failed thus far to subjugate Ukraine, failed to break the unity of NATO, and failed to make large territorial gains. There's more to do. We can't walk away.
That 1994 crime bill, it
it did contribute to mass incarceration in our country.
Bobby Rush, member of Congress, said the other day, I'm ashamed that I voted for the '94 crime bill. You ashamed of that bill?
Not at all. And in fact, I drafted the bill, as you remember.
I know that.
There are two basic steps here. One step is you must take back the streets. And you take back the streets by more cops, more prisons, more physical protection for the people. We must take back the streets. It doesn't matter whether or not the person that is accosting your son or daughter or my son or daughter, my wife, your husband, my mother, your parents. It doesn't matter whether or not they were deprived as a youth. It doesn't matter or not whether or not they had no background that enabled them to become socialized into the fabric of society. It doesn't matter whether or not they're the victims of society. The end result is they're about to knock my mother on the head with a lead pipe, shoot my sister, beat up my wife, take on my sons. So I don't want to ask what made them do this. They must be taken off the street. Unless we do something about that cadre of young people, tens of thousands of them, born out of wedlock, without parents, without supervision, without any structure, without any conscience developing, because they literally, I yield myself 3 more minutes, because they literally have not been socialized. They literally have not had an opportunity. We should focus on them now, not out of a liberal instinct for love, brother, and humanity, although I think that's a good instinct, but for simple, pragmatic reasons. If we don't, they will, or a portion of them will, become the predators 15 years from now. And Madam President, we have predators on our streets. They are beyond the pale, many of those people. Beyond the pale. And it's a sad commentary on society. We have no choice but to take them out of society. And the truth is, we don't very well know how to rehabilitate them at that point. That's the sad truth. I'm the guy that said, rehabilitation, when it occurs, we don't understand it and notice it. And even when we notice it and we know it occurs, we don't know why. So you cannot make rehabilitation a condition for release. That's why in our system, there's the federal system, you serve 85% of your time. We must make the streets safer. I don't care why someone is a malefactor in society. I don't care why someone is antisocial. I don't care why they become a sociopath. We have an obligation to cordon them off from the rest of society.
Guilty. Hunter Biden has been convicted on 3 felony counts related to a handgun purchase in 2018. The president's troubled son faces up to 25 years in prison and a fine of $750,000, but first-time offenders typically receive less than the maximum. Biden is also charged with failing to pay taxes on more than $1.4 million in income. He's due to stand trial in that case in September.
5 American citizens tonight are on the final leg of their years-long journey to freedom. Just hours from now, the prisoners who were wrongly detained inside Iran will arrive back in the U.S. to Fort Belvoir, not far from where we are here in the nation's capital. It took months and months of secret diplomatic talks, and here's what we know about the high-stakes deal. The U.S. released $6 billion of frozen Iranian oil funds and let 5 Iranians who were facing charges for nonviolent crimes walk free. Republicans tonight are voicing concern about the money headed to Iran, a state sponsor of terrorism. Now, earlier today, we saw the Americans get their first taste of freedom in years. The White House said President Biden had an emotional call with their families after they left Iran. CBS's chief foreign affairs correspondent Margaret Brennan is here to start us off. Good evening, Margaret.
Good evening to you, Nora. And these 5 American families will be reunited later tonight. President Biden called the family members, and as one said, for the first time in years, there is light in their home.
Welcome back to America, all right? Like, we seen the first video where it says Hunter Biden, 3 felonies, daddy's the president, got pardoned and all that. We have to, that's what happens with being, daddy being in power. So we're moving on to the next video. The next video after that, I want to know what you think about the Iran, the money being released back to Iran, the people that is going, that is the prisoner swap that been released and all that. Thank you to the people that's coming home and everything like that. So that I'll leave that up to y'all. So please get in the comments. Y'all can beat it up, run it up. All right. So I'll see it in the comments. But let's get to our next video.
This video and this hostage's experience is what the media doesn't want you to see. And as you can see, she shakes the hand and shows respect to Hamas. She was taken as a hostage by Hamas and given back. Well, actually, Hamas tried to release her on Friday, but guess who refused? Because of course. Even though they took her captive. So let's talk about her experience. All these Western news sources like CNN are titling their articles, "I went through hell," or Sky News that cropped her speaking and created more propaganda. But if you actually read about her experience, she says they took care of everything from feminine hygiene, and that she blamed a lot of the issues on the IDF and the lack of awareness. She even said they warned us 3 weeks beforehand, they burned fields, they sent fire balloons, and the IDF did not treat it seriously. Now, I'm not saying everyone should get kidnapped and be like, woohoo. And I'm not saying I don't feel incredibly terrible for this woman. At the end of the day, she was kidnapped. That's horrific. But if she can come out of that and say these words, shake that man's hand, and you're still not going to listen to her? She said they took care of all our needs. We could wash and eat. They talked about all kinds of things, and they were very friendly and treated us gently. Yet Sky News posted the other clip on their TikTok. The clip where she describes how she was kidnapped and cuts it off right when she gets to these points. The fact that she could have been released on Friday alone should just...
Former U.S. President George Bush and his former counterpart Tony Blair were found guilty of war crimes by the Kuala Lumpur War Crimes Tribunal, which held a 4-day hearing in Malaysia. The 5-panel tribunal unanimously decided that Bush and Blair committed genocide and crimes against peace and humanity when they invaded Iraq in 2003 in blatant violation of international law. The judges ruled that war against Iraq by both the former heads of states was a flagrant abuse of law and an act of aggression which amounted to a mass murder of the Iraqi people.
Bush and Blair are found guilty under the same law that applied to the Nazis after the end of World War II. So they are international criminals guilty of Nuremberg crimes against peace. And they should be prosecuted by any state in the world that gets a hold of them.
Now, on the first video, we have the older lady that was taken hostage. She was supposed to be released Friday. But hey, somebody, as you can see in power, didn't want to take her in. Okay? But now, as it unfolds that politics being played in certain situation, because some people want their glory. We see that all day, every day. That's going down. But what I want to understand is that if she's saying that she was treated well, she had her woman's hygiene stuff, she was well fed, you know what I mean, she was treated well, I understand these people did, kidnap her. I understand that. But she's saying that she wasn't mistreated. She was treated humanely, but why do our Western news outlet, when they translate media to us, they only take a certain part and they run with it, okay? And what they run with it, they don't give us the whole scenario. They tell you like she was being, they abducted her, she was treated so bad, But let's get on with the next.
I know war. What's going on in Palestine right now is not a war. It's not. It is the dehumanization. It's the genocide, it's the ethnic cleansing of a specific people to take their land. This is not war. These are people that are defending themselves. I see this constantly where people are just repeatedly dehumanizing these people. This is wrong. And there's nothing more American than speaking out against what's wrong. I can't tell you how many times I've seen horrible things. And this takes it to an entirely new level. The U.S. taxpayer is paying for this, which makes it even more frustrating. I'm paying for this. I am seeing what's happening to this. Whatever you can do, anything, this needs to stop.
something that's going to help the damn workers in the United States of America. Heaven forbid we tilt the balance that has been going in the wrong direction for 50 years. We talk about pensions, you complain. We talk about the minimum wage increase, you complain. We talk about giving them the right to organize, you complain. But if we were passing a tax cut here, you'd be all getting in line to vote yes for it. Now stop talking about Dr. Seuss and start working with us on behalf of the American workers. I yield back the balance of my time.
Please leave it in the comment below what you think about the first video that's talking about Palestine is over land. It's genocide over land. Do you think that? Do you really think there's a purpose why these people are going head to head with each other and a lot of blood's being shed, a lot of unaliving, when all we're looking at is that, or is it just like a muscle pushover trying to take over this property and claim it to make your territory bigger? So this is this what's going on in modern age right now? Just like you got Russia move on Ukraine, it creates its own bigger empire, even though it's called different territories and so on, but it's one head, one unit moving. So let's go on to our second video. Our second video is about the government. All right, just like he's saying, what about if we do something for the people? For the past basically 100 years, yeah, since 1933, you can say the past 100 years since the birth certificate was implemented, it turned out America is a corporation that it is bonded by the full faith of the people. You know, we're the creditors. But Mr. Trump says that he's giving the government back to the people. So does that mean that for the people, by the people, that the government is really being run by what you want or vote collectively or mindset, what is good for us? Or is it that's just something being said, or is it that why they wanted him out of office? But he is the commander-in-chief, so whatever decision he makes, we're here for the 4-year route, and we're going to find out.
This is oligarchy. Since Election Day, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Mark Zuckerberg have become $232 billion richer and are now worth $920 billion combined. Meanwhile, 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. We have to fight for an economy that works for all, not just for the few. While most of us are out here scraping by, these three now have a combined wealth of $920 billion. That's almost $1 trillion split between just three people. But let's put this into perspective. 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. That's most of us. We're deciding whether to pay our rent or whether to buy groceries, while billionaires are deciding which luxury yacht to add to their collection. This system wasn't designed to help us. It's rigged to benefit the ultra wealthy. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be this way. We can demand an economy that works for all of us, not just a select few people at the top. So let's start asking the hard questions. Why is the wealth gap growing so fast? Why are billionaires hoarding wealth while essential workers can't afford basic health care? It's time to fight back. Together, we can push for change, because an economy for the few will never work for the many.
That's why my farewell address tonight, I want to warn the country of some things that give me great concern. And this is a dangerous and that's a dangerous concentration of power in the hands of a very few ultra-wealthy people. And the dangerous consequences if their abuse of power is left unchecked. Today, an oligarchy is taking shape in America of extreme wealth, power, and influence that literally threatens our entire democracy, our basic rights and freedoms, and a fair shot for everyone to get ahead. We see the consequences all across America, and we've seen it before, more than a century ago. But the American people stood up to the robber barons back then and busted the trusts. They didn't punish the wealthy. They just made the wealthy play by the rules everybody else had to.
I want to ask a question, YouTube. Is it really a problem that we live in corporate America, all right, at least for these past 100 years, that everything in America is run by corporate. So when we have like someone running for politics, as we could just seen on Miss Harris' side, we just saw like Bill Gates, all these artists, all these top leaders, like a lot of millionaires, a lot of billionaires came together, piled up on one side. And then we look over and we look at Mr. Trump's side, and on his side you see the same thing, but except not that much millionaires and stuff like that. It's a few billionaires that lines up, but they have it. Like you have the guy that owns UFC. You have Joe Hogan. You got Joe Rogan. I'm saying Hogan. You got Joe Rogan. You have Elon. Elon played a big role in it. But you're looking at how it's being set, and we're sitting here and we're like, oh, oligarchy, or this person became a trillionaire or not. But I thought in America, we still have the American dream to all of us. Any of us could become rich. So that's the touch-up I wanted to do on this video. On the next video, the second video I want to put on, it's on the second video that Biden is warning us about the wealthy, the oligarchy, and all that. But on that video, let's go back through history together, YouTube. Let's go back. Please, y'all can get in the comments and all this. I will read it and get back to y'all. But let's get back on this video. So let's go back through history. On history, if we go back as far as Clinton, isn't Clinton like wealthy, rich? The presidency don't pay that much. So there's deals that's being done on the background, right? Clinton is wealthy. Bush came, did the Iraq war. Bush is wealthy. We have Obama that came after Bush. Obama's wealthy. Obama's writing movies, scripts, deals, books. So they find a way to market themselves outside of politics. Wealthy. So right after Obama, we had Trump. Trump already had money, so we can't even count that in. Let's get back to Biden. We got Biden, and how many different countries paid Biden that $20 million that I did the research and everything that he received from different countries and territories. Then you got the issues with his son, Hunter Biden, and everything like that. And you get what I mean? Substance found at the White House, whose substance it is, and nobody knows. Like, you got all this that's happening. Biden also left with deals in millions of dollars, better off than he went into office. So now you're warning us about, isn't that what been going on for years? So please get in the comments, let it in. Let's get to the
This is a really disturbing story. Police in Arizona obtaining DNA from male employees at a nursing home after a woman who has been in a coma for a decade gives birth. CNN's Sarah Seidner is live in Phoenix with all of the details. Oh my God, Sarah.
That is just basically the way to describe this. It is absolutely horrifying. That's the way that Hacienda healthcare officials describe this. The family says they are traumatized and they are trying to get through this, but there are still a lot of details that people who have patients that are inside of this facility want to know that have not yet been answered, and they want answered, and they want them now.
Can you just bring Trump back?
Yes, please. Listen to what he says. This is completely
saying.
on point. I've seen it happen. Listen to what he says.
RPOF, that's what they're saying.
I've seen what he says.
So when I get people like Roland Martin who go to Twitter and say, oh, I'm lying on Maria Bartiromo, I giggle and I laugh because I know better. What I know is that the radical left thinks that everybody's just going to fall in line.
Nope.
But
Democrats
Joe
are going to
Biden
vote for
has
Trump.
been so bad as the 46th president of the United States that a lot of voters who aren't really Republican voters are going to vote to make Donald Trump the 47th president of the United
That's facts.
States.
I've seen it. I got video proof.
Now, this is very, very sickening. This is very sickening. So, you put your loved one in a nursing home to be cared for because they're in a coma. And now you hear that a whole bunch of male employees are being DNA tested for a child born by a person that is still in a coma. Because instead of taking care of the person, they've been taking advantage of that person sexually. This is very sick. This is what America is. You have people like this, and like, this is what they're doing. So now, please leave it below in the comment what you think should happen to these people. Because, like, I don't get, why would you do this? And on the second video, where he's saying that Democrats will be voting Republican, like, we all just seen that happen. That Mr. Trump is in office right now. That, hey, we saw in history for the first time, this side went to that side went to this side, and hey, the winner won. So, we had a nice run of Democratic president for a while. We had Clinton, then Bush intervened, then we had Obama, then we had, you know what I mean? It'd been like a whole bunch of 8 years, and then we had Trump with the 4 year, but now he's back with doing his 8. Biden looks like he's just gonna take the 4 and don't come back. We don't know. But as you see it, this is history unfolding. This is what the new history books will be teaching in the next 20 years to our children. Let's get to the next video.
Commuted the sentence of Jimmy DeMora, a Democrat politician in Ohio, who was just locked up for taking $500,000 in bribes. Jimmy was running pay-to-play schemes. If you lined his pockets, he'd give you a nice government contract or jobs or raises. He'd even interfere with court cases. Biden also let off Paul Daugardas, a sleazy lawyer who cooked up a tax scam that cost our government $1.6 billion. Prosecutors call Paul the most prolific, pernicious, and utterly unrepentant tax cheat in U.S. history. And a judge said this was the biggest tax fraud prosecution ever. And he let out Michael Conahan. It's a Pennsylvania judge that was involved in the Kids for Cash scandal. You ever heard of this? This dirty judge gave thousands of kids harsher sentences so they would be sent to for-profit detention centers, which would then send kickbacks to the judge. Here's the governor of PA.
I do feel strongly that President Biden got it absolutely wrong and created a lot of pain here in northeastern Pennsylvania. It also affected families in really deep and profound and sad ways. Some children took their lives because of this. Families were torn apart.
This is the type of fraud DOJ is promising to clean up. Maybe that's why Democrats want to keep Elon far, far away.
Yeah, what is the real reason why the Democrats want to keep Elon far away? That we know. We also seen the video where Elon on the Joe Rogan show says that if Mr. Trump wins, the list is coming out. Yeah, I know the list, the island list, man, the list. So is that why they want to keep Elon far, far away? The world will never know. Maybe we will just find out very soon. You know, the world is like a box of chocolates. You never know who you're going to get as a president. Let's get on to the next video.
Where is it? The laptop.
Sir, I'm not here to talk about the laptop. I'm here to talk about the FBI cyber program.
You are the assistant director of FBI Cyber. I want to know where Hunter Biden's laptop is. Where is it?
Sir, I don't know that answer.
That is astonishing to me. Has FBI Cyber assessed whether or not Hunter Biden's laptop could be a point of vulnerability, allowing America's enemies to hurt our country?
Sir, the FBI cyber program is based off of what's codified in Title 18, or Title 18, Section 1030, a code which talks about computer intrusions, right, using nefarious intent.
But you've talked about passwords here. I mean, Hunter Biden's password on his laptop was Hunter02. He drops it off at a repair store. I'm holding the receipt from Max Computer Repair, where in December 2019, they turned over this laptop to the FBI. And what now you're telling me right here is that as the assistant director of FBI Cyber, you don't know where this is after it was turned over to you 3 years ago. I mean, I would think that if the president's son, who does international business deals, referencing the now president with the Chinese, with Ukrainians, I mean, have you assessed whether or not the Hunter Biden laptop gives Russia the ability to harm our country?
I don't have any information about the Hunter Biden laptop or the investigation.
But should you? I mean, you're the assistant director of FBI Cyber.
By the block and line chart, no, sir, I should not.
Who should we put in that chair to ask questions about this laptop that FBI has had for 3 years?
Sir, I'm not in a position to make a recommendation who should say.
So you don't have it, you don't know who has it, you don't know where it is, you're the assistant director. I seek unanimous consent to enter into the record of this committee the contents of Hunter Biden's laptop, which I'm in possession of.
I'm not.
There's no objection to that.
So I can't say no objection.
I've never had.
I will object pending further investigation.
And what's the basis of that objection?
It's a unanimous consent request, and I object pending.
Very well, I have a subsequent question. Mr. Chairman, I seek unanimous consent to enter into the record the receipt.
It may very well be
from the Mac shop.
It may very well be entered into the record after we look at it further.
Very well, Mr. Chairman, I have a subsequent unanimous consent.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman, I seek unanimous consent to enter into the record the receipt from the Department of
Mr.
Justice
Chairman, this is
to
Ms.
the
Deming.
Mac shop.
Am I next, or am I next? Or?
Your sister, who wrote in a letter to the judge that she was going to stay with you if she was released.
Do me a favor and kiss my
New at 4, President Biden's decision to grant clemency to nearly 1,500 people is the largest act of clemency by any president. It's being met with anger and frustration, though, in Dixon, Illinois.
That's because Rita Crunwell's name is on the list. She pled guilty to stealing $54 million from taxpayers in the largest municipal heist in U.S. history.
We're not taking any questions.
Do you have anything you want to say to the people of Dixon?
Rita Crunwell was a humble public servant by day, but lived large in almost every other part of her life. A 20-year fraud on her hometown of Dixon, Illinois, that totaled $54 million.
Don't you think you owe the people of Dixon an apology, Rita?
Now, another gut punch for the people of Dixon. Crunwell's name is on a list of 1,500 people granted clemency, meaning her punishment is over.
We're just shocked, outraged. As a community, we feel betrayed by the justice system, by the president.
Danny Langloss was Dixon's police chief when Crunwell's crime was exposed.
She pled guilty to a very serious crime, got near the maximum, and served 8 years. What message does that send to the victims, to our community, and to people across the country who think about doing something like this?
Crunwell was a world-class horseman with a stable and possessions worthy of a queen. She left the impression she served as Dixon's comptroller to give back. The charade crumbled in 2012. Then, in 2020, at the height of the pandemic, WGN Investigates obtained this handwritten letter to the judge begging to be released. With my deteriorating health condition and the danger of the COVID-19 pandemic, I feel like I have been given a death sentence, she wrote. The judge denied release, but the following year, the Bureau of Prisons put her on home confinement, even though she had only served less than half of her sentence. Rita's brother didn't have much interest in talking to me back then.
Sorry to bother you. I'm from WGN.
About bad luck.
Why do I have bad luck?
Because you're a lead.
Well, that's not very nice.
What are you doing here?
Well,
Get over here. What are you bothering me for? Get your camera off my face, you.
Is Rita staying with you? Or?
Rita who? Who would you like?
Your sister, who wrote in a letter to the judge that she was going to stay with you if she was released.
Do me a favor and kiss my
Is it your sense that she was remorseful?
It is not, actually.
Former U.S. Marshal Jason Modillo met with Crunwell in prison several times as he worked to sell her assets.
She conveyed to me more of a sense of disgust that she had been sentenced to so long. You know, she was very visibly shaken by the fact that she was serving a nearly 20-year sentence.
Crunwell has been out of jail on home monitoring since 2021. The president's grant of clemency means there's now no possibility she can be required to return to prison to finish the sentence that wasn't supposed to end until 2029.
The president is commuting the sentences of 1,500 individuals who were placed on home confinement during the COVID-19 pandemic and who have successfully reintegrated into their families and communities.
We've had a dramatic turnaround in 10 years. I was proud to be part of it, but we're not where we would have been if she hadn't been robbing us for 20 years.
Able to reach Rita Crunwell for comment on her clemency. Through the sale of her assets and proceeds from a lawsuit, Dixon taxpayers managed to recover $40 of the $54 million she stole.
Now YouTube, we back at it. Now let's go into perspective on this first video right here. Why is the assistant director, right, of the Alphabet Boys, I know the F Boys, why is the assistant director do not want to answer any question about Hunter Biden's laptop? Or he says he doesn't have any knowledge of Hunter Biden's laptop. And also he says that, hey, he don't know nobody he could put in the seat that could answer the questions for Hunter Biden's laptop. All right, so let's go with the second video. On the second video, like this lady that stole, I don't know, $54 million that Mr. Biden, pardoned and everything like that, gave clemency to, and she's supposed to be coming out of prison to stay back with her brother, and her brother going ham, people in the town going ham, they're crazy about it, losing it. I need to know, what do you think about that? So leave it in the comments below. Do you think Mr. Biden did right, or do you think Mr. Biden did wrong? So please, let's have a public opinion on that. Let's get to the next video.
President of the United States, Joe Biden.
It's June 9th, 1987, and then Senator Joseph R. Biden Jr. has just entered the presidential race. Look familiar? The 2020 race is Biden's third attempt at the Oval Office. He first ran for president 32 years ago. For those who may have forgotten or weren't around in '87, here's what happened. Biden started off as a strong contender.
Senator Joseph R. Biden Jr. of Delaware.
But his campaign was marred by some early blunders, like this one.
What law school did you attend, and where did you place in that class? And the other question is...
I think I probably have a much higher IQ than you do, I suspect.
And he exaggerated his academic record in law school.
Went back to law school, and in fact ended up in the top half of my class.
And then there were moments like this, repeated later during the campaign.
When I marched in the civil rights movement, I marched with tens of thousands of others to change attitudes.
But he never actually marched in the civil rights movement at all. Ultimately, it was accusations of plagiarism in his speeches.
I did not know that was a Robert Kennedy quote. My mistake.
That forced him to drop out of the race.
I made some mistakes.
After that, Biden stayed in the Senate, ran again in the 2008 race, became the vice presidential nominee, and then the vice president. Laid low for a little while, and now we're here.
If I'm going to be able to beat Donald Trump in 2020, it's going to happen here.
And certain things, including a handful of Biden's vulnerabilities, haven't changed. He's still leaning into some of the core messages he highlighted during his first presidential run, often emphasizing his profile over policy, promising to put the country on the right path after what he sees as the ills of Republican administrations. Here he is in 1987.
I tell you today that America is a nation at risk.
In 2007.
This president's going to be judged in his administration, judged very harshly by history.
And in 2019.
We're in the battle for the soul of this nation.
But Biden has struggled to project himself as a man in step with the times, and parts of his political history continue to haunt him, like his role in the questioning of Anita Hill in 1991.
It is appropriate to ask Professor Hill anything any member wishes to ask her to plumb the depths of her credibility.
And more recently, it was his relationship with personal space.
The boundaries of protecting personal space have been reset, and I get it.
Throughout his more than 4-decade-long career in politics, Biden has become known for his freewheeling charm and authenticity.
I've been referred to as middle-class Joe. It's not always meant as a compliment.
But his candor has also gotten him into some trouble.
I've done some dumb things, and I'll do dumb things again.
As the Democratic frontrunner, Biden will be under a microscope. The question is whether he can harness the folksy appeal he's become known for without repeating the mistakes of the past.
It is not the tax and gun charges that Hunter Biden is being pardoned for. That's just a smokescreen. That's just something to run to the press with, because Joe Biden pay close attention here, rather curiously pardoned Hunter for all of the offenses that he, quote, has committed or may have committed or taken part in between January 1st, 2014 and December 1st, 2024. Whoa, 2014? 2014? Wait a minute. Now, if that tax crime took place in 2016 and that gun crime took place in 2018, why is Daddy Biden pardoning Hunter dating back years earlier, specifically January 1st, 2014? What happened then? What were we doing then? Oh, I know. We were overthrowing a duly elected president in Ukraine. That's what I know. Ukraine. Back in 2014, Joe Biden was vice president. It was Obama's White House, and we staged a coup in Ukraine. We just overthrew a president, turned Ukraine into a laundromat for the West. We were just money laundering. They're making money. We funded, like this is always our move, we fund rebels to overthrow presidents. We're doing it right now in Syria. We arm them, we fund them. And this time in 2014, in February 2014 to be specific, we overthrew President Viktor Yanukovych, and we installed a Western puppet president. And that is, by the way, part of the reason and the circumstance that has led to the situation in Russia today.
Former President Biden, right? He been in politics for 50 years. That's called dedication. That's like Lil Wayne. Yeah. Who else? We could go, man, we could go on and on. That's like Michael Jackson in his whole life and his career. That's every day you get up for 50 years, man, you go do the same thing. Vote to make shit worse, or you know what I mean? Or pick up with whatever agenda that your culture got, whatever, and then you out of office, you finally made it to the top of the pedestal to become president. Now you're on your way out, just pardon all your homeboys and thugs out and throw the deuces and you out. I'm just saying. That's the life we're living, man. And then we have the next topic where what really happened on the second video where Candace Owens is talking about. What really happened in 2014? Oh, like they said, back then Obama was president and Ukraine happened. So 14, now you're in 24. It's a reversal. That's why Russia is kicking foot to butt and butt to boot. Oh, you get the idea. So that's what's going on. History is repeating itself. So let's get on with the next video.
Actually had some major breaking news coming from now former President Joe Biden. He has issued pardons for multiple members of his family, his siblings, and their respective spouses. And I just want to read for everyone a part of the president's statement, the former president's statement, explaining why he decided to take really this extraordinary move. He said, my family has been subjected to unrelenting attacks and threats. And unfortunately, I have no reason to believe these attacks will end. Now, he went on to say, you know, even when individuals have done nothing wrong and will ultimately be exonerated, the mere fact of being investigated or prosecuted can irreparably damage their reputations and their finances.
Yeah, I'm Haitian by origin. Biden, there's a saying we have in my culture. It says, Haitians d'un chien blanc. That means you can hate the dog, but tell the dog it got white teeth after it bit you. All right? So you're going to sit here and look at Biden being a thug, Biden being a gangster. Biden say, what? He's out of office. Everybody's pardoned. Fauci's pardoned. You know, he say, yeah, it's going to damage somebody else's reputation or so on and so forth. What happened to the crime bill and everything that you did that anybody been accused of certain crimes or anything damage their reputation, even if they're not convicted? Come on, man. I'm just saying. But this is America, right? Like that song, This is America. Now, I just want to say thank you. If you've been riding with me this long, thank you. This is the end of this video. I want to say until next time, all right? So peace be unto you. May the blessing of the Most High be on with you in your life, with your children, your family. Everything you do shall prosper. All right? In the name of the Most High. Until next time, stay tuned.